Alright, what's up YouTube? Uh, I wasn't going to make a video, but I kind of changed my mind basically. And I wanted to also fulfill my word to a good friend of mine that I told him that I was going to cover a subject where I learned something new and I'm correcting something that was misinformation. So I told a good friend of mine that I was going to give him full credit for checking me on that information that was wrong. And so Peter, this is for you. This is basically me talking about before. I guess I've made several videos and posts, but I was informed during the beginning of this COVID-19 pandemic that the cause of it was people in Wuhan were eating these bats, and the bats contained this thing that could, I don't know, whatever it was, like an enzyme or something that would be able to transfer to humans and then therefore cause us to get sicker. I was going by that information based upon what I saw in the media, which we all know the media can be full of crap. Most of the time they are full of crap. So the fear of these bats transferring this stuff to humans was like a frenzy of misinformation. And then it's like also they're showing images of people in China eating bats, and they're making it seem like that's a normal thing and that it happens every day, and that it's that's people in China eat bats. So Peter, a friend of mine, is Chinese. He's been to China. I've never been to China, so I couldn't speak on that with any kind of accuracy. But he can, because he's been there. He's a Chinese American man, American-born citizen of Chinese descent. I'm an American-born citizen of African descent. I can't even speak on the continent of Africa because I've never been there. I can talk about what I see on TV or whatever, or what I read in books, but I've never been to Africa. My buddy Peter has been to China, which is his ancestry. So he's been there I don't know how many times, but he knows a lot more about China than I do. So when he contacted me and corrected me and saying it's falsehood, this whole bat eating thing, maybe there's some weird offshoots of people who do eat bats. You know, there's people that eat dogs, there's people that eat all kind of stuff, there's people that eat bugs in certain countries. I was in the Marines, I ate bugs. It's part of survival training, crickets and grasshoppers and stuff like that. Watch the movie The Lion King, they're eating grubs, right? Anyways, so as far as the COVID-19 and the bats, first of all, I've said this before, there's still no definitive vaccine or complete, accurate, what's going to happen kind of information out there, because it changes week by week, day by day, and there's like this whole fear of what's going to happen, and oh my God, what about Trump, what about Biden? There's this whole fear thing, and the media just plays on that, and it works. So I try to stay away from the media because of that. But in the beginning of this pandemic, we all were very nervous. I'm sure I was like, what the heck is going on? What's going on? We were all stuck at home in the stay-at-home order. Everybody had to stay at home, and that was problematic for a lot of people. It was definitely problematic for me. It created more drama in the household that I was living at with the people who at that time I was living at. Right now, I don't live with anybody. I don't have any roommates. I am going through a divorce, thankfully. The marriage was bad, and then you have the stay-at-home order on top of it when there's already discontent and strife and turmoil within two people's marriage, and you add another two people that shouldn't have been there to the mix. Now you got four people living in the same household, all not getting along. You add all the stress, the COVID-19, financial stress, worry, the media frenzy, all these things of misinformation, people supposedly eating bats transferring COVID-19, the evil forces of Trump, the evil forces of Biden, the evil forces of China, the evil forces of COVID-19, the evil forces of the media. All that convolutes into people having nervous breakdowns, meltdowns, and people were acting a fool. And if you aren't able to manage yourself and self-control yourself, take long walks like I was doing, do push-ups like I was doing, pray like I was doing, and you gotta maintain a sense of self-reliance based upon the fact that you're on this planet for a reason, and that reason is not to have meltdowns, not to fall apart under pressure, not to destroy other people, but to learn, to say you're sorry, to get over yourself, to be able to be humble enough to say something was wrong. And I'm saying something was wrong with what I said. I don't know the answers. I don't know what causes COVID-19. I do know it was started in the city of Wuhan, China, and I think it was started in a lab, and the lab workers maybe got infected, and it got out, and it started spreading, and there's international travel. Next you know, it's worldwide, right? So we're dealing with it, and I'm sure they're working on a vaccine. Everybody's kind of scared of that too. Like, would you trust a vaccine at this time? You don't know what the side effects are. It's a crazy time. It's a crazy time. And there's a lot of misinformation out there, a lot of wrong information. And I don't want to be one to spread wrong information. I also don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to offend anybody from China or any other country, because I have really good friends, like my friend Peter, who's an American man of Chinese descent, and he's a good guy, and he's a great guy, and I've known him for a long time, and I would definitely like to apologize to Peter and say, you checked me, brother, because I did not know that information, and I was speaking out of ignorance based upon what I saw in the media about bats and how the COVID-19 is spread and all that kind of stuff. Again, no one, I don't think, really knows everything right now. Experts, doctors, politicians. It seems like we're all playing everything by ear, day by day. That's what it looks like. Everybody's like, what's next? What's next? Sports is trying to work their things out. The NBA, the Major League Baseball, they're all trying to work out their differences. They haven't fixed their stuff yet, but I'm thinking they're working out something. NASCAR's back to racing. Of course, we got race riots. We have the whole thing with George Floyd was tragic, where a man was murdered by at least one police officer. I don't know how that's going to all play out. There were 4 police officers present. I don't know how the courts are going to decide who's guilty of that murder, other than the one man who had his knee on the neck. But other people are saying that all those cops are culpable because they were all there. They could have stopped it. Courts are going to work that out. I don't know. So I won't speak on things that haven't legally been worked out yet. There's going to be a trial by jury. There's going to be a judge, and there's going to be lawyers, and there's going to be all that. And I'm sure they're going to arrive at a conclusion. Hopefully it's a good one that everybody can live with, so that there's no more riots, just like back in the 90s with Rodney King, when those 4 cops were acquitted of beating Rodney King. And when they were acquitted, that's when the city burned itself down, and there was a bunch of problems because of the corruption again with the police. So here we are again, the 1990s. So here we are over 20 years later, same kind of thing, almost, except this time somebody died. Rodney King wasn't killed. He was beaten, unduly beaten. He was already judged and juried by those police officers before he even had a chance to face the court systems. They already, convicted him and beat him. Maybe he was guilty because I think he was speeding or something, or drunk driving, and he was evading capture. Yeah, so guilty. You stop him, you arrest him, take him to jail. You don't take turns beating him with a stick. And in this case, you don't put your knee on a man's neck for 9 minutes and then kill him. So there's a lot of negative stuff there. But originally my post was about COVID-19, misinformation. These are crazy times. Again, I just wanted to correct any wrongs that I may have said about the start of it. I don't know. Again, I think the most accurate information is that it was started in a lab in Wuhan, China. But I've heard that it was from a fish market. I've heard that it was from bats. I've heard all these different things. So what's the truth? It's hard to say. I've never been to China. I've never been to Beijing. I've never been to Wuhan. I don't know all the answers. I sure don't. And I don't know anybody who does. Right now, everybody's going to say they're experts, or this is what's going to happen, or this is what, right now they said so many people. We should have had 2, 3 million, 4 million people died, killed by this pandemic, according to when it first started, they were like, oh, millions were going to be affected and millions are going to die. You know, America was supposed to have, by this stage, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of deaths from COVID-19. That didn't happen. Not because of the social distancing, but they were just saying it's going to happen, and then social distancing might slow it down, but we're still going to have 400,000 people killed in the United States. That hasn't happened. So the experts don't know. They just don't know. And I don't know, and I'm not an expert. It's funny that they think that they're experts and they think that they know, but they don't, and they can't just tell the truth. That's what bugs me. Just be humble, be honest, and say, we're doing our best. We don't know. And keep trying to get things better. I want to see some resilience in the economy, as far as the human, the character of America, of the world, to kind of come together, get the economy sparked again, work out our differences, be good to each other, treat each other better than what's been happening. Be self-controlled. Don't fly off the handle. Don't let your emotions get you into hot water. Make an emotional decision. Some of the stuff that people were doing when they were looting and rioting and all that was emotional decision making, and some of those people are in jail right now. Whereas prior to that, if they would have just thought about it and saying, is this worth it to blow my top over something that I have no control over? And now they might be doing a 5 or 10 year prison term with a felony on the record, which prior they might have never had a felony, all because of an emotional bad decision. So I think we should treat each other better, treat ourselves better, to count to 10, take a step back, reassess. You know, I mean, I don't know. I was raised to be good to people, try to treat people better than they deserve, better than they treat themselves. You know, treat yourself good, treat others good, forgive others, pray for others, love yourself, love others, love God, take care of each other. That's just to me, that's a better way. I know not everybody's going to follow that philosophy. Not everybody's a Christian, and I'm not forcing my beliefs onto you. But I just know that there's a better way than looting, rioting, murder, defunding the police, and all that kind of, I don't know. But again, the original post was about COVID-19 and the start of it, what started it, what caused it, where did it begin, and the original information that we were getting, at least back then, if you guys recall, was from bats, right? And I don't know if that's true or not, but I just wanted to self-correct and say, my friend Peter's been to China, and he says that people aren't over there, by and large, eating bats. And that's what I wanted to correct myself and say, I apologize for that. I don't want to be offensive to anybody. If I did offend anybody, I am sorry. I don't know why people can't just come to a point of humility and say, hey, I made a mistake. I was wrong. Much better to be humble and say you're human and you can make mistakes. I think in America, we want to be right about everything. We just want to be right, and we'll fight to the death to be right. And if you're not right, your pride is telling you to continue on. Hey man, if you're wrong, you're wrong. It's okay to be wrong. You're human. In the military, when I was in artillery, we had to practice. Sometimes you're wrong, and you find out what works better by saying, hey, that was wrong. Let's do it better this time. And if you're a leader and you can be, a humble person to say, hey, I made a mistake. Let me do better this time. You're a better leader now. You can teach your troops better. You can rise the ranks with that humility and that learning and that ability to adapt and get over your ego. When you're wrong, you're wrong. When you're right, it's okay. And when you're wrong, it's okay. Try again. Do better next time. Professionals work in such a manner that they do things to actually find out what works and what doesn't work, so that when they do find something wrong, their professional demeanor is saying, hey, I made a mistake, but now I know what to do next, what not to do next time, and what to do next time. So you got to kind of take your ego, put it in the garbage, and leave it there. Because the human ego is really bad. It doesn't do much good for us, especially in America, where we have all the money and all the social media and all the Instagram and sex, drug, and rock and roll right here in America. Pumps up our ego. Everybody's buying albums and want to go platinum, and viral views and viral videos. but we can't say, hey, I'm sorry. We can't say, hey, I made a mistake. Well, I'm saying I'm sorry, and I'm saying I made a mistake to my buddy Peter because he's a good guy, and he called me out on this, and he told me he was looking forward to me making a video to say that I was wrong about something that I had no knowledge of, because I've never been to China, and he knows more about it than I do. So that's for you, Peter, and for everybody else. I still say, be good to each other, treat each other better than you deserve, forgive yourself, forgive others, and get up tomorrow and attack the day with a good attitude. Be grateful for what you have, and hopefully we get through all this craziness, which I do believe we will. I absolutely believe we will. This is like a shake up and a wake up, and things like this happen sometimes. I don't know, every 15, 20 years, crazy earthquakes, there's wars, there's rumors of wars, but see that ye not be troubled, for all these things must come to pass. And I say, don't give up, and whatever happens, just understand there's hope. Just don't give up, and forgive yourself. Definitely forgive others. So this is Staff Sergeant Calhoun from Whittier with my LA Love t-shirt on. Let's go Dodgers. Hope they come back and hope they get a World Series. All right. Thank you guys. Peace.